This is a part of my guide that I was making on how to get a girlfriend. This is an early installment, which is part 5, how to make a relationship last. So if you're someone who's already in a relationship and it's kind of going bad, this will help you so much. Stay tuned and subscribe for the full guide. Part 5, will it last? So you've learned what you need to be in a relationship and you've taken actionable steps. You've understood who she is and what qualities of a high quality woman are. You just understood how to get a girlfriend in 3 weeks and what you need to be in the relationship to make it work. And now, finally, it's time for part 5. Will it last, and actually how to make it last? So basically, what we're going to talk about is if you are already in a relationship, this will help you to understand what the signs of a healthy relationship are and what the signs of a dying relationship are. So you can understand where you are with this girl right now. So I'm going to assume that you're in a relationship now. If you're not, this might not help you that much because this will all sound like rubbish in theory to you. So my advice to you is go back to part 3 and part 4, understand how to get a girl and who you need to be to attract her, and then come back and watch this part. So first of all, we're going to get into a 21 days experiment where we're going to observe everything and react to nothing. And what I mean by that is observing everything is one of the highest quality traits of a true masculine person. Because as hunter and gatherers, as the people who protect and hunt for our family, we are supposed to be observant. We can't just sit there and let things happen. Because if you and me were in the wild 10,000 years ago, we wouldn't just sit there and wait for prey to come in front of us. We would be silent, deadly hunters who would hunt the prey in front of us in seconds, and it would be our responsibility to feed our children and family. So, those genes and those old ancient parts of our brains are still inside of us, but we choose to ignore it. And that is why 99% of all relationships go down because men don't take the responsibility they need to take or be as observant as they need to make that relationship last. So what I want you to do is for 21 days, you do nothing. You don't try to change it up. You don't try to be more friendly or listening to her or changing who you are. All you do is observe. You get a piece of paper or a notebook and you start to write down things that you observed, how she behaved towards of you, what made her cringe or what made her mad or what made her happy. Was it something you said? Was it something that happened and how you reacted to it? Everything that happened, bad or good, you write it down. And at the end of these 21 days, you will start to notice a pattern. And let me tell you what that pattern is already. What you will observe is that whenever you took responsibility and were authentic, she loved it. Even though you were against her, even though you were arguing, she was actually all for it and she deeply respected you for it. And even though that argument just went on and on and on and on, she still never backed down. Or she didn't just blame you for stuff. You took responsibility for it. When you saw that you were wrong, you were like, yeah, I'm sorry. And she actually appreciated that. But when you were passive, when you were neither masculine nor feminine, she was also not feminine. And you were both in this untamed energy of just being agitated as well as like violent. And you were arguing constantly, and all you wanted was to make the other person's life hell. And if you are in a relationship that just clicked to you, like you've seen this happen so many times with your siblings, especially with your parents if you have trauma, you're not masculine or feminine, you're not agreeing with each other. All you want to do is just cut the other person's throat. And that could be too imaginistic of me, but I think that's true. So all you do is you observe everything and react to nothing. You let things be as they are, and you just understand what makes things click. And now just let's quickly get into the signs of a healthy relationship. So, if these are the things that you noticed in your this little notebook and this experiment, that means you're on the right track. First and foremost, the most important is polarity. Polarity is basically all you need to understand about polarity is this concept where in a relationship there are two people and either of them are like the ends of a magnet. You know how a magnet has a north pole and a south pole? One and the other, north and south, attract each other. So when a north pole is close to a south pole, they attract. But when both of them are close to each other, like the opposite, like it's north pole and north pole, like they repel each other. What I mean by that is one person is masculine, one person is purpose driven, while the other is love driven. It's always that one person is always the masculine person is chasing their purpose. They're chasing food, they're hunter and gatherers. And the other feminine person, I'm not saying man or female, all I'm saying is masculine and feminine. You could be feminine and she could be masculine and it could still work out, but either of you has to be masculine and the other has to be feminine for there to be polarity. So, for example, like you could be doing things in your work, or like you could be a student and you're studying, and she comes up to you, or she texts you, or she calls you, and all she wants is your attention and love. But you tell her that you need to work, that you need to grind, and she understands. That's polarity. But when you're like half studying, half talking to her, that shows that you're not purpose driven. That creates a conflict, a lack of polarity, and she reciprocates because it's her job to reciprocate. Women naturally either always oppose the energy, like if you're being masculine, she becomes feminine, or when you're being depolarized, she becomes depolarized. It's always your fault. So polarity is basically that magnet in your relationship. The stronger the magnet, the stronger your relationship. The more masculine you are, the more feminine she will be, and that will create polarity between you. The other is communication. And communication isn't just like day to day talking. Communication basically means understanding the other person's need, telling them what you need, and listening to them talk, paying attention, being authentic, and being present in the moment in the relationship. That's what communication is. And if you've noticed this, that means you're on the right track. And I don't think you have this, because if you need to like listen to this carefully, that means like you have a lack of communication, and this says a ton about you. Because a lack of communication and polarity, everything we're going to talk about here, everything bad about a dying relationship, it's all your fault. It's never the feminine that is wrong. It's always the masculine not knowing how to deal with the feminine. So I'm going to teach you that. But polarity and communication, then we have intimacy. Intimacy again is just not sexual, it's emotional as well. You being emotionally vulnerable, you showing and expressing yourself without being fearful or guilty. That's intimacy as well as sexual intimacy, which you know what that means. But the more intimacy there is and the more vulnerability there is, the better a relationship is going to be. That means you can trust each other and you can be there for each other. And that's what intimacy means. The other is wholesome memories on a daily basis. So there's always one or two parts of your day that just shine. They make you feel happy and you're grateful for them. And you're naturally thinking about these memories, thinking like 10 years from now, I'm still gonna remember this. That's wholesome memories. And if you aren't making wholesome memories on a daily basis or a weekly basis, that means you're down bad. So, and the last is a bright future. If you can't see her as the mother of your children, that means she's not the one. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't have a bright future, either fix it by the thing I'm going to talk about, or align it. Like you need to move on. You need to break up with her. You need to move on. If you can't see her, but don't quit. Don't listen to me talking about this without watching how to make it last and actually putting effort in. Don't quit. Do all of these things. Do that 21-day experiment. Figure out what's wrong. Is she masculine as much as you are? That means you aren't made for each other. But if she's feminine, truly feminine, and you're making her depolarize, then it's your fault. You need to listen up and you need to take action on everything. And that's how you're going to make it last. So that was sides of a healthy relationship. Now let's quickly, very quickly go over symptoms of a dying relationship. I think you might be able to relate to this. Wanting revenge slash depolarization. So I just explained to you how there are two ends to a magnet and they attract each other, like the south and north pole attract each other. But like think about this. When a magnet is demagnetized, this is science bullshit, but basically when a piece of metal gets magnetized, it has a north pole and a south pole. But when it doesn't have any magnetic properties, it's just plain old metal. It could be like stale iron, rusting iron. That's depolarized energy. And what I mean by depolarized energy slash wanting revenge is because of this stale, rusty, old, brownish energy that you have inside of each other, which is your fault, by the way. You want to take revenge. You just want to make their life worse. And you can't stand each other, which makes me move on to the next point, which is dreadful time. Like all the time you spend together, it's 99% of just like, ugh, like I hate you. Like I hate when I don't even want to see you anymore. Like that's the dreadful time. That's because of depolarized energy. It isn't that big of a deal. This can actually be fixed in 5 minutes by you just smiling and telling the woman that you love God. That's all it takes. But still, you spend that full time together. You have constant conflicts every fucking time, every fucking thing you do. You're conflicted because you're not sure what you want, and she is waiting for you to give her direction. She's genuinely begging you for you to give direction, but you're conflicted. You're conflicted between your priorities. You don't know if you need to focus on your purpose or focus on her right now. You end up doing both or neither, and you fuck up. That's why you have constant conflicts. It's that simple. It isn't rocket science. It isn't something that you need to go to a therapist for. You just need to understand that you're being a dick and you're being a pussy, and that's what you need to understand. Like, you're being depolarized. That's why she always leaves. That's why she always cheats. That's why she's always on the lookout for other mates. And if your girl has social media, she isn't the one for you. Or if she has social media and you still like love her and she loves you, that means you haven't deeply connected with her to the point where she can quit social media. And I know this is like too optimistic for me, like no girl ever quits social media on her own, but it's your responsibility again to make her quit social media, to let her drop Instagram, Snapchat, not talk to her whole friends anymore, not post pictures of her that are revealing or any pictures of her. You know why I say that? Let's just say a girl has 300 followers. Out of that 300 or 350 followers, let's just say that 140 are men. Out of those 140 men, if we take 1%, that's 1% of those followers, those men, that's going to be two people on average are stalking your girlfriend. Every picture, every story she posts, they're there. They never let her know, but they're always looking at her pictures. And these are disgustful men, but your girl allows that because she has an Instagram. And I wouldn't personally go near a woman, not just date her. I wouldn't even want to be around her. Because if a girl is chasing validation, that means you haven't given her or you haven't given or appreciated her enough to her core, to her entire feminine core, which is why she always chases external validation. She needs to thrive off of your validation, but you never show her that. You're being depolarized and you're always having conflicts. That's why she needs to go outside, go post pictures of herself and let other eyes tell her that she's good. Why would you want that? Like, why would you want your girl to get validation from other people, other men? It's your turn now. It's your turn to realize that you need to do all of this. It's not the girl's fault. It's never the girl's fault. You should know that. If a girl cheats on you, it's your fault. Somehow it just is. You need to accept that. It isn't her who cheated on you. It isn't the guy that she cheated on you with. He's not better than you. You're just depolarized and conflicted. That's all. The reason why you can't attract a girlfriend if you're just watching this because you have no idea what to do is because you're conflicted. You have no idea what's going on in your life. And depolarized energy and lack of ambition and not knowing what you want, lack of clarity, that's everything. Basically, the crux of this entire thing that I've been talking about, the symptoms of a dying relationship, that's what caused the relationship to die. And finally, no respect of us. Like, this is one of those like clear classic symbols. If she has no respect of you for you and she can call you a dickhead and leave every time, just you know what I'm talking about. And trust issues as well, like always monitoring your location and not knowing what you're doing, and you not being like, there for her and showing her that you love her. Like, that causes lack of respect and trust. So that is symptoms of a dying relationship. Finally, the part that we were here for initially, how to make it last. And I'm going to make this very quick. We're going to go through every one of these with only actionable steps, no bullshit. Understand polarity. If you've skipped to this part, go back to the starting of this video, learn about polarity, understand what you need to be, what she needs to be, how that creates a strong magnet. The stronger the magnet, the deeper the relationship. The weaker the magnet, the rusty the energy. So if you have rusty brown, like dirty energy, depolarized energy, you're going to be bad. Like, it's going to be a dying relationship. But when you have amazing polarity, it's going to show. It's going to show in your relationship and it's going to make it very good. So understanding polarity is very important. Then we move on to communicate and express yourself. Again, if you watch the alpha part of this video, you know that there's a yin and yang, there's a balance, the golden balance, the darkness inside of you and your personality. When both of that comes together and combine that with virtues, you become the alpha. But what I need you to understand is expressing yourself in an authentic and wholesome way is the key to being a true gentleman. A person who can express themselves without fear of being judged is truly a man. That's the man I can respect. So in a relationship, your girl won't be able to respect you enough unless and until you communicate and express yourself. And that also applies to her. Show effort and appreciate her. Basically, like, you need to show effort. You need to sit down and have conversations with us, and you need to show her that she matters. You need to appreciate what we talked about in a dating relationship. Like, you need to show her that if you don't validate her, she will go out. But if you do validate her, she doesn't need anyone else. Your girl and you can literally survive the end of this world. If an apocalypse struck, it could be you and her, and you could literally live the end of the world. That's what you would go through. But if you can't understand this and take responsibility, you can't even go through a normal day of work. So show effort and appreciate her. Having deep conversations is the best way to do this. You ask her questions like you did on the first date. You show interest. You flirt with her. You show your romantic side. And you, like, this is such a big misunderstanding. You trying to get her doesn't stop ever. Like ever. If you think like you can like romanticize her and you can flirt with her and you get her, that doesn't mean like you don't have to do that. Like after that, you have to be there always. You always need to romanticize her. You always need to show your flirting side, and you need to keep it spicy. You need to keep it so fresh and wholesome. You don't need that stillness. You need that polarity, and that polarity comes through having deep conversations and being who you were to attract her, being the alpha always, not just being a man, being her god. Like that's the level you need to be at for her to actually love and trust me, for it to be create a relationship. Schedule her. Like we talked about this in the first part of this video. Like your purpose is the main priority and she's the second priority. She's still a priority. It doesn't mean that you always just like work, 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 work. You need her in your life. You don't need to lock in and just keep grinding and like get what you need. You need to live life as it is. Do your hard work, even if you don't feel like it, but also live life. Not just work, live through everything, live through the troubles, live through the trauma, live with her, be with her, schedule her in. Love, not lust. I don't need to explain this. If you're doing it for lust, please click off. You don't deserve this video. You don't deserve her. Your mother doesn't deserve a son like you. If you're doing it for lust, you're a fuckboy. You don't need this video. All you need is a tight slap to your face and for you to be lonely and depressed. That you deserve that if you're doing this for lust. A man who chases lust is coward. A man who doesn't even need to chase love is is the alpha. He is the one who deserves this. He's the one who will make it last. If you chase lust and if you're just doing it for sex, man, fuck you. Like, get out of here. Make her your responsibility. Basically, what I've been telling you this entire video, make her your responsibility. Let her feel appreciated. Let her be in the direction of your purpose and your clarity. That's all you need to know how to make it last. Again, go on this experiment, learn about your relationship. Don't chase anything. Don't react to anything. Just observe, write it down, understand the signs of a healthy relationship so you know what's happening, the patterns, and the signs of a dying relationship. Understand these things. Make it last. You're a man. You can do it. I believe in you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this guide helped you a lot. Take care, and I'm going to see you in the next one.